What's up, Upstanders? Dr. O here. And as I said before, I'm a fan of Nicolle Wallace and Deadline White House. It's one of the shows, everyone's looking for shows that represent the resistance after an election, right? And I feel like her show challenges guests, isn't afraid to call a thing, and doesn't let up on holding people accountable. And I appreciate that. And of course, several other shows, on that platform do that as well. Ali Velshi, Lawrence O'Donnell, Joanne Reed. So this isn't similar to some of the critique I may have from like Joe Scarborough and Amika Brzezinski in terms of their change since the election. So I'm watching Deadline White House and I see Nicolle and Alex Wagner talking about Elon Musk and USAID. And one of the questions that Wallace asked of Wagner was like, because she was out at a rally in support of USAID, was why is he doing this? And the typical things were brought up. He wants control. He's a control freak. He feels like he's in charge. He feels like he's railing against government spending. All of the same arguments you've heard about why Trump is oops, see that Freudian slip. I don't know. Why he's going after these different departments, whether it's Treasury, Department of Education. So they were going on that, and it's not like anything they said was wrong. It's just that they were missing something, and I'm trying to think about what it was. Elon Musk is a racist, and you got to call a thing a thing. And Elon Musk is from South Africa, and Elon Musk understands that USAID played a part in dismantling apartheid in South Africa, in Southern Africa overall, in South Africa. Now remember, it's pronounced apartheid, not apartheid. Think hate apart. I'm not going into the weeds of it, but if you just do some basic research, everyone, you will see that the policies that USAID was involved in supporting local groups in South Africa helped challenge apartheid, which is where Elon Musk is from, apartheid South Africa. This is revenge for him. And yes, it's true that many Americans won't care about it because they don't really care about foreign things and stuff overseas and the like. They'll be caring about the Department of Ed, which will be a later video. But the fact of the matter is, he sees this as revenge, not only against populations in South Africa, but the entire African continent, where many countries take advantage of what USAID offers. Now, of course, we can talk about critiques of USAID. I've done that all of my life. But he wants it gone. There are people dying in places like Sudan and Congo and Ethiopia right now because these programs are done. Now, this is going to be another video, but also remember that USAID doesn't only feed black kids. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. There's white folks, there's Asians, there's Hispanics who are also taking advantage of it. Conversation for another day. But Elon Musk sees this as revenge. And part of the challenge that we have with our media infrastructure, the late Dr. Joe Madison said this. He said that when people go to school to major in journalism, they should do like a minor in history, because that way they can have more historical context. One of the reasons somebody like me tends to gravitate to either older people or like a Lawrence O'Donnell, people because they've lived it, or people like Simone Sanders, who talks about politics and has been a deep insider. So people like these have, just like Nicolle Wallace, who worked under Bush and so on and so forth. People like these have institutional knowledge. They have institutional knowledge, and so that's why I gravitate towards them. But when people study history, they would understand why Elon Musk would hate USAID so much. And the other problem with the media, in addition to some journalists not really caring to know about history, is that people are afraid to call a thing a thing. What Elon is doing on many levels is racist. We all know what Trump is doing is racist on many levels with the birthright citizenship and all of that, the illegal quote-unquote immigrant crackdown or illegal alien crackdown, quote-unquote. If I'm wrong, I haven't seen any undocumented Irish people be rounded up. But the inability to just call out Elon Musk for his racism, for his anti-Semitism, for his transphobia, this is part of the problem. This was part of the problem with Trump. And people took years for people just to call him a liar. Not me or platforms like Black Star Network or Urban View or places like that, but like general media outlets. How do you have this guy give an actual Nazi salute, like heart on the hand, throw it out to the crowd and all of that, and not call that a Nazi salute? How do you call that an awkward gesture? And somebody said, well, maybe. And I'm like, even if you wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, like the next weekend or the weekend before, whenever it was, you don't go speak to an organization or political party in Germany that many people see as neo-Nazi. Like if I give a Nazi salute in some way, shape, or form, and I'm saying it's a mistake, whatever, you know what people also do who do something like that? They apologize and they recognize it as being wrong. So, like for real, you got to be able to call this what it is. At the inauguration, you're doing two Nazi salutes. People will give you a pass. You're targeting an organization that you feel has hurt, destroyed an empire that you apparently were a fan of in South Africa of apartheid, because I don't see any record of you fighting against it. So you go and target one of the main organizations that did that. And so if we're mindful of that, it's going to help us get a better understanding of why USAID is first on his list. And it's unfortunate that too many Americans don't care about foreign affairs and the role organizations like USAID plays. Of course, it's an organization that can be critiqued. All of these organizations can be critiqued. But really, at the end of the day, people have to tie his racism to what's happening to USAID. You gotta attach his anti-Semitism to him having conversations and speaking at platforms like how many of y'all are gonna go speak at a Klan rally? Like how many of y'all are gonna be keynote speakers at a neo-Nazi rally? Like how many of y'all are gonna be at at a transphobic conference condemning them as not being human beings? Like how many of y'all are gonna do that? Like you're not gonna do it because it's not who you are, and people aren't gonna invite you because they know that's not who you are. There's a reason why Musk is on these bills. Are people afraid of losing their platform status by talking about this? And so I applaud what they're doing over at Deadline White House. I applaud what Nicolle Wallace is doing as a former Republican whose mindset is if something's against democracy, I don't care if the political party is, I'm riding with that party or that group that's for this democratic experiment. So I respect that. And so I hope they continue to do what they do, but I think they would add a little bit more oomph to what they're doing, a little bit more I don't know what word I'm looking for, credibility to their conversations about Elon Musk and USAID if they would just parse out his South African roots. Because the fact of the matter is, America is being taken over by several people with South African roots. Peter Thiel grew up there. Then you got Elon Musk, and then you got David Sachs as well. And what does that really say? What does that really say that they're vibing with Trump on so many different levels? And why does it say that so many Americans are willing to stand for that? Because a lot of these people who are woke, so on and so forth, they're about to find out that funding disabilities for their kids in these red states and schools from the Department of Education, that was also part of woke policy. But we'll get to that in another video. Y'all just stay with a brother. Trust me, I'll get into all of it. So please, you all, stop letting these guys get over with what they're doing. It's heinous, it's hateful, it's barbaric calling these guys, some of my friends who work for these organizations, criminals, and calling these people who do it worms. And the fact of the matter is, that people are making a narrative, which is true, that the richest man in the world is denying food to some of the poorest people in the world, and that's an incredible narrative, but there are deeper narratives behind that. And I want folks in the media to continue to call all of that out so that we can have more fruitful discussions based in all facts. So all I got. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. Drop them in the comments, hit me up, and I'll check you on the next video. Peace.